Hello everybody, I'm Jason Burt from Macomb Township Government Access along with Brad Fetters, and tonight we're getting set for this varsity boys basketball game between the Dakota Cougars and the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils. And Brad, when you look at Dakota, we saw them last week in a nice win over L'Anse Creuse North. If you take a look at the standings, they sit on top at 4-0. Really, they've just been in cruise control the last few seasons, and right now it looks like maybe just Stevenson sitting right behind them is maybe a two-horse race in the MAC Red.
This marks the halfway point of the MAC Red standings, and as you take a look there, Dakota with that perfect 4-0 start, looking to make it 5-0, and more importantly, their 39th straight MAC Red win here tonight over a Grosse Pointe South team that's in last place, winners of only one game. So Blue Devils looking to play the role of spoiler here tonight.
Dakota has some young players, and we knew they were going to go through a little bit of a learning curve, I guess, coming up to the varsity level, but we saw players like Ryan Rollins the other night not have a great game. He really is a player for them, though, to look out for.
Yeah, he really struggled from the floor. I think LCN did a terrific job of creating a matchup that was tough for Rollins in that game, but he still somehow found a way to score 16 points. He's averaging just over 22 points per game. So he's a guy that the Blue Devils are going to have to find a way to shut down, and that's easier said than done.
Dakota's got some depth. They've been utilizing their starting five is probably one of the better starting fives in all of the MAC. But as for Grosse Pointe South, you know, they're taking their lumps this year thus far. They're sitting at the bottom of the league, and now looking at the first place team here tonight, what can we expect from them?
Well, Grosse Pointe South, unfortunately for them, one of the lower scoring teams in the MAC Red, only averaging about 45 points per game. And when you're playing a Dakota team, you know you're in store for quite a track meet because they're like up and down the floor constantly. So Grosse Pointe South going to have to slow this game down. It's all about tempo and creating some chaos.
Well, we hope to have a good ball game here tonight. Stay with us. We'll be back in a few moments for the opening tip on Macomb Township Government Access.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Welcome back here at Macomb Township Government Access. Jason Byrne along with Brad Fetters. Getting set for the start of this game here between Dakota and Grosse Pointe South. Let's quickly take a look at the starting lineups. First for the visiting Blue Devils, in numerical order, number 14, Daryl Houston, number 20, Ryan Downey, number 32, Cooper Lunt, number 34, Luke Adams, and number 42, Ryan Bushka. Home Cougar starting lineup is the same lineup we saw a few nights ago. Number 3, L.J. Hassel, number 25, Cortez Gordon, number 0, Brian Sturkey, starting backcourt. Number 11, Ryan Rollins, and number 2, Mark Toko. Dakota in the home white uniforms here tonight. Grosse Pointe South in the road blues.
And Jason, the last time these two teams met to open up MAC Red play, it was over on Grosse Pointe South's home floor, and it was the Cougars with the 64-54 victory. And Sturkey, the man in the middle, they're ready to take this tip, was instrumental in that victory with 17 points and 10 rebounds.
Jumped it up with Cooper Lund, and ball goes to Dakota to start the opening possession. Mark Toko will run the, Brad will run the offense here for Dakota.
You mentioned that victory over L'Anse Creuse North in their last game, 59-51. That was a hard-fought contest. Not a lot went right for Dakota. They kind of just had to hang around and eventually complete the victory. Tough shooting night for the Cougars, 37% from the floor. Only 1 for 10 from beyond the arc. So that's something they're going to want to pick up here tonight in terms of their floor game. And it's going to start right there with Ryan Rollins.
Rollins, who struggled in that game against North, misses that one. No contact there, apparently. And a jump ball, and it favors Grosse Pointe South.
Rollins, we mentioned Sturkey's game the last time these two teams hooked up. Rollins, a really good stat line in that one as well. 19 points, 6 boards, and 5 assists in that victory over Grosse Pointe South.
Hard trap there at midcourt. Grosse Pointe South able to get out of it. They move it around. Open jump shot for the outside. Luke Adams misses. Sturkey with the board. Dakota will want to run when they can, but they'll pull out and just set up shop here in the half court.
It's going to be Toko slowing things down, gets instructions from his father. A little bit of a mismatch there. The big number 32, Cooper Lund out there guarding Toko.
Cortez Gordon knocks down the jumper. Good feed from Toko. Lund, turnaround jump shot from the elbow, misses. LJ Hassel with the board.
And this Grosse Pointe South team in desperate need of some offense. We mentioned they are the lowest scoring team in MAC Red play.
Three-pointer, deep one off the mark by Mark Toko. Gordon with a nice crossover baseline, got tripped up.
Grosse Pointe team that averages just under 45 points per game, and that's just not going to cut it, especially against a team like Dakota, who likes to get going in transition.
Dakota can play two different styles. That's what makes them dangerous. And their bigs can shoot. Looking inside, Sturkey in the post wasn't there. Toko trying to dribble around his defender, turns, fires the shot, misses. Rebound inside nicely. Daryl Houston, a freshman in the starting five for Grosse Pointe South.
Some terrific ball handling skills on display there by Houston. And you wonder if that's a shot there that Grosse Pointe South would have rather have taken.
Ryan Downey puts the ball on the floor, fires, was fouled. Coach Toko talking to his guys, not allowing that penetration inside. Of course, you never want to foul a jump shooter either, but shot was contested. Grosse Pointe South, a second year for them in the MAC Red, taking their lumps. Coach Voss over at Chippewa Valley always said, you know, when you come up to the MAC Red, you don't know what to expect night in, night out until you actually get in that grind. And this is the second year that they've been up in the Red, and wonder if they're going to want to stick around.
Well, they held their own last year. They finished in a tie for second place with that 500 record of 5-5.
Cross-course passes for Dakota Rollins. Jumper off the mark. Ball comes down to him. Another little floater. This one falls.
You almost had to start worrying there for Dakotas. They're having some difficulties getting those jumpers to fall here for a second straight game, but Rollins able to make good on his second attempt.
Coming off a screen was Adams. Now up top, Riley Francis into the ball game. Little floater from the lane off the mark. Hassel battling for the rebound. It was tipped and out of bounds. It'll go to Dakota.
A little 5 out there by the Blue Devils. Some screens and some cuts and nothing to show for it. An empty offensive possession. The only points coming via the free throw right now, and Rollins will run the point now on this possession for the Cougars.
4.5 to go in the opening quarter. Dakota with a 3-point lead. Nice cut by Sturkey off glass. Got it. Good slash to the basket that time by Sturkey. And little pressure now. Grosse Pointe South gets ahead of it. A miss. Yeah. Tough luck right there for the Blue Devils.
That was really good vision that time by Houston, and tough luck miss. And those are the shots that Grosse Pointe South is going to have to convert if they want to stay with the Cougars here tonight.
Hassel gets it out top, goes across to Rollins. Gordon with a nice backdoor look to LJ Hassel, who lays it in. Beautiful pass by Gordon.
Too many Blue Devils on that far side of the floor.
4 different players have scored already in this one, Brad. Grosse Pointe South really struggling here in the perimeter. Dakota playing good defense out there. Rollins with a rebound off a miss.
Turned down a couple looks from 3-point range. And there's that Cougar transition game, so deadly. You don't want to see them running up and down the floor. And
well, the defense has been solid on that perimeter, running out and defending the three-point shot. Looks like Grosse Pointe South wants to try to set that up, but every time they get the ball, the defender's right there on them.
Nice little rip curls being run there by Grosse Pointe South, but really have yet to find that open three-point jumper, and some mass substitutions now for the Cougars. Couple fresh bodies on the floor for them, including Josh Hines, who was really good, I thought, off the bench in that game against L'Anse Creuse North. 13 points in that contest.
Xavier Glenn into the game as well for Dakota. So Coach Toko relying now on his bench a little bit more as the season progresses. Then a block inside, but a foul. Glenn came across and swatted it, but I think we're going to get a foul. It's going to go against Cortez Gordon. That's his second.
In the way that L'Anse Creuse North game played out, I thought Dakota had to go to a much shorter bench, and obviously a few more changes already in this first quarter for Dakota as they try to kind of solidify their rotation. We mentioned this is the halfway point of the league calendar.
So Evan Messing checks in to replace Gordon. Now sits with 2 fouls.
That's a big blow there, having Gordon take a seat on the end of the bench with those 2 personals. He's really kind of one of the lone main post presence for Dakota.
Blue Devils moments ago picked up a foolish foul on the press against Toko. They now have 4 team fouls already. Rollins had that one knocked away and then kicked away. Glenn picks it up, goes back out to Toko, open for 3, knocks it down. So good fortune right there for the Cougars as it found its way back into their hands, and Toko got the 3 to fall. How about all 5 starters now have scored for Dakota?
And a much better start here tonight from three-point range, knocking down that first open look. Kick ball there, possession over to Dakota.
Yeah, you mentioned him moments ago, Josh Hines, a good young-looking player for Dakota. Came up big in that 4th quarter. We saw him against L'Anse Creuse North.
Yeah, Hines, only a freshman, and you look at players like Hines and Rollins. Rollins only a sophomore. It's unreal how good this team's going to be in a couple of years.
Beautiful backdoor cut once again by Rollins, and he lays it in. Give him 5 points here in the opening quarter. From the foul line, little short jumper won't fall. South struggling on the other end. Xavier Glenn catches and lays it in, and we're going to get a Grosse Pointe South timeout.
Can't convert on the 15-footer, and the Cougars beat you down the floor, and it leads to an easy transition bucket. Everything going right now for Dakota.
Something to be said, too. I mean, just the way that they are looking to spread the ball around. 6 different players already have scored now for the Cougars. And these are important games for them because if they're already on top at 4-0, you look at it and, I mean, it's easy to say on paper, well, you know, it's a winnable game. Grosse Pointe South, you know, hasn't won a game and they're sitting at the bottom. But you got to be careful in those type of games. You don't show up to play. A team like that can jump up and bite you. So it's an important game for them to just continue their winning ways, get to 5-0, and then look forward to some of the other tough matchups that they're going to have against teams like Stevenson, Chippewa Valley, and L'Anse Creuse North coming up.
Yeah, those games are coming up, and you often mention these as trap games, right? You start looking ahead and not worrying about who you're playing that night, and you factor in your next games against a good Chippewa Valley team on the road. Coming up in a couple of days, you start worrying, well, we're going to be able to take care of business here tonight on our home floor. Well, early indications that will happen here with the Cougars out in front by 15 points.
And they turn the ball over. Unforced error right there by the Blue Devils, and 1 for Mark Toko.
And a little bit of insult to injury there. You get the steal, and Toko goes up, gets fouled. He completes the strong effort at the rim and will look to complete the three-point play.
Just unforced error right there. They just threw the ball right to Rollins, who was able to get it over to Toko, who went up strong with it. So he completes the three-point play, give him 6 points here in the opening quarter, and he'll take a seat. In for him and is Evan Whalen, number 12, and get a feeling that Coach Toko is going to start bringing in some fresh players throughout this one if the score remains. Half-court press right there by Dakota. South able to beat it. Now they'll get into their half-court set. Ryan Downey out top. Moves it around to Houston.
Little switch out there by Dakota defensively.
Another jump shot won't fall for South. Here comes Dakota. Evan Whalen picked up his dribble, goes across to Hines. Xavier Glenn, little screen and roll right there. Gets it to Rollins at the foul line. Nothing inside, he'll just move it out.
And Xavier Glenn's gonna be a real special player too.
Gets that rebound right there after it was tipped, and one. Boy.
6'5" sophomore. You beginning to sense a little bit of a theme here with all these underclassmen.
Boy, credit Evan Messing though on that one. He went up and got a hand on that rebound, tapped it to Xavier Glenn, and he was able to finish it, and he's gonna have a chance for a three-point play. Already, Brad, here under a minute to go in the opening quarter. Dakota up by 20.
Emptying the bench.
Miss at the line, though. Here comes South. In dire need of some offense. Three-pointer on the way. Theodore Niforos misses it.
So wide open, he had time to rotate the basketball in his hands.
Hines knocked down. No call. The call is actually the ball hit the top of the backboard. Jeremy Flattery into the game for Dakota for the first time, replacing Glenn. Well, it's going to keep bodies fresh if you can keep going three deep.
I think all 11 guys that are healthy here tonight have touched the floor.
And talk about some tough luck. That thing was three-quarters of the way down, a little layup.
Houston lost a shoe as well. What a mess so far for the Blue Devils. Nightmare first quarter. Gonna have to hurry off a shot.
2 seconds, and he's gonna call for a travel. 0.5 on the clock. Dakota more than likely just gonna inbound it.
Yeah, they won't be able to catch and shoot. Oh.
And that's gonna be a turnover.
Stepped over the baseline.
Yeah,
trying to inbound that pass.
Yeah. Messing's eyes got big, and then he changed his mind at the last second, turned it over. So now South has a potential catch and shoot situation here. 0.5 seconds. And nothing doing. So after one quarter, Dakota on fire leads it 22-2. Stay with us. We'll be back in a few moments. Start of the second quarter. Don't go away.
Got a quarter?
Welcome back here on Macomb Township Government Access. Jason Burnt and Brad Fetters started the second quarter with you for Dakota and Grosse Pointe South. It's all Cougars, Brad, 22-2 as we start the second.
And Coach Toko puts his starters back in to start this second quarter of play, and enjoying a huge 20-point lead right now. You somehow hold the Blue Devils to 2 points in that first quarter of play, and
Gordon misses a three-pointer. Grosse Pointe South with the rebound, now looking to get some offense going. There's been none thus far.
Yeah, the lid has been on the basket here tonight for the Blue Devils.
Losing the handle right there. Gordon saves it, went off the bottom of the backboard. Sturkey swats it away. Here comes Rounds now, maybe 2-on-1. Up ahead, Toko lays it up and lays it in. Beautiful in transition.
When you get two guards like Rollins and Toko, you got two quarterbacks back there and terrific court vision and a little bit of an and one now for the Blue Devils as they get on the scoreboard.
Nice answer here on this side by Chase Tomlin.
You literally have one quarterback in Toko, but Rollins with terrific court vision out there leading that last break.
So Tomlin at the line, off the front iron, misses. Rollins trying to corral that one. He does. Wisely holds on to it. So Dakota up by 20 with the ball. They go to Sturkey. No high post action, gets a screen for Hassel. Toko now around his defender. Gordon, little head fake didn't work. They go back out top. Toko with some crossover dribbling. Floats one up in the lane, misses. Some contact there, no call either way. Here come the Blue Devils.
Chase Tomlin, really good defensively there, forcing Toko away from the basket. Now will pick up a foul at the midcourt stripe.
Mark Toko right now looking like a pinball out there. He's getting knocked down all over the place. He was knocked down on that little floater. Got up slow, and by the time he got to midcourt, the ball got knocked away. He came up with it, and he got knocked over again. So 7th team foul for Grosse Pointe South, though, Brett, for the next 6:25. Dakota's going to be in the bonus.
Yeah, free throws the rest of the way, and already with a 21-point advantage. 6:25, a lot of time remaining in the second quarter to be in the bonus.
Toko knocks down a pair. He's got double digits now in this game with 10 points.
This Dakota team already a couple games where they've scored in the 80s. This was a team that routinely scored in the 80s last year. Telegraph pass, and Toko just taking over right now.
That's just too easy. Sat back there and read the play. Up ahead, though, the press this time. Toko back to try to swat that one. Instead, he fouls Luke Adams.
Toko might have taken a heel to the midsection there.
Slow to get up here. He's still down.
Trainer going to come and take a look at him as well as Coach Toko.
Of course, Dad's right there. Coach Toko, it's his dad. Relies a lot on Mark to run the offense for Dakota and does a nice job. But right now he's might just got the wind knocked out of him. And like you said, might have took something to the midsection, but trainer's going to evaluate it right now.
Yeah, he applied a real hard foul. Nothing easy here tonight for Grosse Pointe South, and he went crashing down to the floor. And
I joked about it that he was getting knocked around, but 3 times down the court he got knocked down on his last offense, one of the little floaters in the lane. He was slow to get up, and by the time he hobbled back to midcourt, he got knocked down again with the loose ball. And now here on this side.
Plays with a little bit of a reckless abandonment at times, and he is really hobbled.
Holding on to his knee. It looks like that right leg, that right ankle was causing him problems, but he'll definitely head to the bench and get a round of applause from the home crowd. But play goes on here as now Hines checks in to replace him.
And they're looking at his ankle, his right ankle. You wonder if it maybe got caught underneath him as both players came crashing down to the hardwood. And
Luke Adams misses the first free throw. And
nothing easy right now for the Blue Devils.
They've been snake bit thus far here in the opening half. Only 4 points scored. 4 and 10 minutes gone. Still can't buy a point.
You like to see those free throws go in because you like to see a ball go through the hoop, but right now even the freebies aren't coming easy for Grosse Pointe South.
Hines, little hook pass inside to Gordon and one. Got good position down low and an aggressive move to the basket. So Dakota right now in cruise control. Miss at the free throw line. Here comes South. And falling down right there was Ryan Bushka. Surprised there wasn't a travel call there, and now we're going to get a timeout from the bench. In danger of a 10-second call.
Avoiding that 10-second call, and well, it's.
You might want to check for a wet spot down there because he tripped and fell in one specific area.
It's quickly going downhill here for the Blue Devils. Tough go of it with 5:40 remaining in the second quarter.
Well, I mentioned Dakota 4-0. They've got a couple nice wins. They got a fortunate win over Chippewa Valley with a last-second bank shot, prayer shot there right at the end of regulation to beat Dakota by a point, and then tough matchup against Stevenson. They ended up getting a win there. So already two teams that are right on their heels. They hold victories over, so that's going to be huge moving forward.
And both of those games, home victories for Dakota, really haven't gone on the road besides L'Anse Creuse North. So those games, those rematches against Chippewa Valley and Stevenson on the road will tell us everything we need to know about this Cougar team. But in the meantime, let the good times roll.
Ryan Rounds controlling things. Gets a screen from Sturkey. Over to Gordon. Nothing there. Hines picks up his dribble, goes to Sturkey now in the post. Turnaround jump shot. Nearly fell, but misses.
Sturkey looked like he had a pogo stick out there bouncing around in that post position.
Good hard drive inside that time, but Ryan Downey still couldn't get it to fall, and really no offense for South. Hines, little short jump shot, that one falls. They're going to have to make sure that they take the lid off this basket for the second half.
Everything going away from the basket right now for Grosse Pointe South.
Hassel steals it, a wild shot. We're going to get a blocking foul, but it should be a shooting foul for Dakota's. LJ Hassel, used to running the football as a running back.
Appears to be a really short bench here. Sorry for the interruption, but it looks to be a really short bench for Grosse Pointe South. Only 8 guys dressed here tonight, and foul trouble could be a real factor in this game as well.
Already the 9th team foul, so one more, and Dakota will have the double bonus for the last 4 minutes and change. Xavier Glenn checks back into the game for Cortez Gordon.
Reminds me of a college game that happened back in December, Alabama and Minnesota. Alabama with a short bench, had a couple guys ejected in that game, a couple guys followed out, and they ended up playing 5-on-3.
LJ Hassel with 4 points in the ball game. And a 30-point lead right now for Dakota. Short little jumper finally falls for Grosse Pointe South. Daryl Houston gets that one. And maybe that might open things up offensively for the Blue Devils. You know Dakota's hammering for to keep the team under 10 points for the half as Sturkey gets an easy bunny.
We've been on triple-digit watch in this gymnasium a couple times as the Cougars came close to scoring 100 points, and I can't ever remember being on double-digit watch.
Well, right now with 3:44, Brad, only 6 points scored. Might be hard to come by for this Grosse Pointe South team. Dakota's defense playing well offensively. 36 points scored.
Yeah, Grosse Pointe South, a little bit of case of their own worst enemy here tonight as well.
LJ Hassel called for a travel. Tried to split the defense there between two guys. South working the perimeter, looking for anything inside, just not there. Xavier Glenn doing a nice job defensively in the post. Settling for another jump shot and another miss for South. Here comes Dakota now. Hines, a little behind the back, three-point attempt, falls. Beautiful play right there by Josh Hines.
With Rollins and Toko, Hines hasn't been asked to do a whole heck of a lot in the backcourt for Dakota. He's been their man off the bench, but when he gets in, he really lights up the scoreboard. He's impressive to watch as only a freshman.
They called that last bucket of his, though, a two-pointer. Said he had a foot on the line. This one, Ryan Rylands gets that one. So the floodgate's still open here offensively for the Cougars.
Coach Toko congratulating a couple of his players as they hit the bench, including LJ Hassel. And talking about that bench, you see Mark Toko with the foot elevated and the ice bag on that right ankle.
And really, you know, regardless of whether he's all right or not, you're not going to bring him back in this ball game. The score being the way it is. Dakota has this one well in hand. Three-point shot right there falls for Daryl Houston. The freshman, a couple big shots here in the second quarter.
And Houston has been all the offense here tonight for Grosse Pointe South.
Rollins nearly picked up his pivot foot there. Now Hines showing
Moving
off some
screen.
dribbling skills and got an illegal screen, yep.
Evan Messing stuck the hip out.
2 minutes to go here in the half.
Happened right in front of the official as well.
Jeremy Flattery checks in, replacing Evan Messig. Well, 9-point score here for the Blue Devils. They got 2 minutes to get out of that single-digit range for the half. Nearly caught in the trap in half court. Lund and swiped away from Rollins as the crowd erupts. In transition, Xavier Glenn lays it in. Boy, that wasn't just a swat. He went up and just snatched it out of midair.
Is there such a thing as a highlight reel block? Well, I guess that's case in point. Rylan Rollins goes up with two hands and comes away with the block. Leads to an easy transition bucket once again for Dakota.
Marvin Hughes checks in for Dakota for the first time, replacing Josh Hines. So Coach Toko emptying his bench a bit. Going to get a lot of players some playing time here. Evan Whalen running things at the point. Offense will still go through Rollins. He has it. Pick and pop right there. Off the hands, though, of Jeremy Flattery, out of bounds. Houston wanted to turn on the Jets. Takes that jump shot, misses. Lund, one-handed putback attempt, misses. Here comes Dakota now, up ahead of the pack. Xavier Glenn hesitates, goes off glass and lays it in. 8 points for Glenn and a 45-9 lead.
This team really starting to turn a corner, aren't they? Starting to settle into roles, getting some extended minutes for some of these role players and bench players for Dakota here tonight as they gear up for those tough games coming up on their schedule.
Another three-pointer off the mark. Dakota will just hold on to it. Perhaps for one final shot, Rollins controlling. You just got to wonder, Brad, where this Dakota team would be if they didn't lose Thomas Kithier. Everyone knows that story. We're not going to get into that, but, you know, transfer to Clarkston. And if he would have stayed here at Dakota, you often wonder what this team would look like now. As they get it down low and a foul, Jeremy Flattery will go to the line.
Yeah, to have that real true post player inside is really kind of the only thing really missing from this Dakota lineup. They really have two terrific guards, and to have that true post position with the Thomas Kithier, wow, look how this team could have really been something special. And they still might be special. That's the scary thing.
Well, they're getting some big minutes, and that's you're right. I mean, without the Kithier or without the other players that graduated, you thought maybe that this team would take a step back, but they're getting production right now from Cortez Gordon and Xavier Glenn and LJ Hassel, some bigs down low, really helping out. And you combine that with a good point guard play, they're going to be dangerous. A full court shot misses everything. 47-9 lead for Dakota at halftime. Brad, your thoughts?
Well, what can we say? They held Grosse Pointe South, a MAC Red team, to under double digits and a half of basketball while scoring 47. Just a complete package here by the Dakota Cougars on their home floor.
Stay with us. We'll be back in a few moments. There will be a second half. Dakota leads it 47-9. Stay with us.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Welcome back here at Macomb Township Government Access. Jason Burnt and Brad Fetters getting set for the second half here between Dakota and Grosse Pointe South varsity boys basketball. To say Dakota's got this one in control, Brad, is an understatement. They lead 47-9 as we start the third quarter.
We saw this Dakota team blow out a lot of competition last season, but I can't remember a game that was more lopsided than this one, and a complete effort out of the Cougars here tonight. And they'll start with their 5 on the floor, their starters, minus one member, and that's Mark Toko, who didn't even come out of the locker room to start the second half. So obviously his night is done after he suffered that ankle injury.
You mentioned maybe a running clock situation if it does get too lopsided. I believe it's 40 points. If it gets to 40 points or more, they may just keep the clock running. Three-pointer on the way here, missed by Houston. Stepping on the baseline, trying to save it right there was Daniel Cullen.
Grosse Pointe South has run their sets. They've gotten some open looks, and they just haven't been able to cash in.
Josh Hines bringing it up, as you mentioned, replacing Toko.
It's extended minutes for Hines, really going to show off his capabilities. He's a terrific guard for them. Really impressed the last couple games that we've seen him. Takes that bump and in the process took the travel.
Got knocked off balance that time, yeah. Wanted a foul call, but instead got called for the travel.
Hard to get those calls when you're up 38 points.
Well, you never know. This officiating crew did officiate the girls' game right before it, so if they want to get out of here, you never know.
Yep, they're pulling a doubleheader too.
Grosse Pointe South in the half-court set now. They move it around.
A lot of rotation, a lot of screens, a lot of cuts. I mean, you like this motion offense. They're getting them some looks, but they just, for whatever reason.
Coast to coast, LJ Hassel lays it in. Give him 6 points on the night. And we do have a 40-point game. Little floater misses down to Hines. Now in transition. Had it knocked away.
Good clean steal.
Daryl Houston now across. Another miss by South. Boy, they just can't get a bucket to fall. Wild fadeaway shot that time by Cullen. Dakota's defense has been there all night long, and hence the 9 points scored. Our scorekeeper hasn't had to hit the button very many times for them. Ryan Rollins knocks down the jumper.
Toko has finally come out of the locker room, and you can see he is really hobbled, and he goes right to the bench, and ice pack going right back onto the ankle. So that looks like that one hopefully doesn't keep him out for too long.
Grosse Pointe South doing a nice job trying to be unselfish, and it finally leads to a bucket as Luke Adams gets the little floater to fall, but sometimes you can pass the ball a little too much, and Dakota cutting off all the passing lanes. South hasn't really been able to get anything going. Hassel goes back to Rollins, double teamed. Dribbles out, kicks it out to Sturkey.
Ooh.
Southpaw three-pointer right there off the mark.
Big screen set there by LJ Hassel.
And a miss on this side.
Wonder if Downey heard footsteps there and rushed that layup. He's kind of chuckle about it, but
yeah, he went to the right side, and Sturkey came on the left and swatted the backboard on the left side, and he just flat out missed the layup. And a nice swipe right there. And another tough luck miss, though.
Yeah,
South is
refs letting them play now. Hines turned the basketball over, but got back and created that block shot.
Cortez Gordon open for three in
Boy.
the corner, knocks it down.
Dagger there, insult to injury.
51-11 our score.
I was gonna say, I don't even think they put the three up on the board yet, and they didn't. 54-11.
54-11. Three-pointer on the way, off the back iron. Misses once again for Daryl Houston. Dakota with the board. Here comes Rollins. As you mentioned, Brad Rollins has gotten some offers.
Yep, main one thus far, Cleveland State. You know, the offers will continue to pile in. I was taking a look at the Dakota basketball Twitter page, and there's an image there of Rollins and Toko meeting with Coach Beeline at the University of Michigan. So that's something to keep close attention to.
Now we mentioned Thomas Kithy earlier. Obviously a senior this year, but he'll go play at Michigan State next season. So potentially, maybe some former teammates might face off against one another down the road.
Yeah, Ballantyne and Jackson playing at University of Detroit.
Hard to motivate your team when they're up by 42, Brad, but Coach Toko still barking out the orders.
He's keeping the starters basically on the floor. A couple substitutions now with Glenn and Whalen into the ball game.
Gordon got around his defender, but then threw the ball away, looking for Hines in the corner. The clock's still running, so it is a running clock situation.
Yeah. It's quickly becoming a two-horse race. I used that analogy in our Mac Red preview show that I didn't think anybody was really going to run away with the league this season. And Stevenson trying to keep pace with this Dakota team. Stevenson on the road tonight, Jason, taking on Eisenhower.
Little floater by Ryan Downey falls. Stevenson joked with us and said, hey, we were the favorites from the get-go, but they fell in the first matchup with Dakota. Still lots of basketball to be played. I mean, you really can't joke about it. Dakota is going to be 5-0 after this ball game, but they still got 5 more games to go.
And we already mentioned a lot of those games will be on the road.
Another three-pointer missed by South. Here comes Hines. Pulls up for 3 himself. Misses that shot. Both teams trading long-distance shots. Rollins, those long arms, just swipes it. How about a little alley-oop right there? A little too deep.
Looking for the exclamation point on tonight's victory.
Xavier Glenn got caught just a little too far underneath. Nice drop-off and one on this side of the court. Theodore Neferos. He'll go to the line looking to complete the three-point play, but yeah, Glenn would have been wiser right there, Brad, on that alley-oop try just to catch it, come down, because the defender went up in the air. It would have been easier for him to just kind of hesitate and go off glass. He would have got an easy bucket, but he wanted to throw one down, you could tell. 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. They're going to fly by fast now with the running clock. Splitting the defense right there was Marvin Hughes. Here comes South now the other way. At the buzzer, shot off the mark, and that's the way the third quarter will come to a close. Dakota up big, 54-16. We'll be back in a few moments for the start of the fourth.
Hi, I'm Jordan Peele. I'm usually trying way too hard to be funny. Well, right now I'm going to be completely serious with you. Online bullying is a toxic side effect of modern technology. No one's immune to it. Not you, not me, nobody. But there's a way we can fix it. This emoji in the symbol section of your phone's emoji keyboard. Use it when you see bullying online to say, I see what you're doing, not cool, definitely not funny. And I know what funny is. I coined the phrase wordness to the turdness. So join me and become a witness. When you see bullying online, use this emoji to do something. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org.
And we're back here in Macomb Township Government Access. Start of the fourth quarter here between Dakota and Grosse Pointe South, varsity boys basketball. The Cougars have had their foot on the pedal from the get-go. They lead at 54-16. That is an accurate score, Brad. They just have played outstanding from beginning to end. Three-pointer to start the fourth, and Hines drops that one.
There's really no such thing as running up the score in the game of basketball. I mean, Grosse Pointe South is playing defense. Dakota's got all the reserves in the game now.
Nice swat from behind by Jeremy Flattery. Transition the other way, a miss. Flattery gets it underneath. Misses that one. South with the rebound.
Take a look at this Dakota team and just really wonder how they lost by 37 points to New Haven. I mean, I realize New Haven's the defending Class B champions, but boy.
Well, we got an and one situation here. Floater falls for Chase Tomlin. Well, you mentioned that New Haven team. I got 2 words for you. Romeo Weems, one of the best players in the state and probably a Mr. Basketball finalist, I would think.
And all indications appears he's going to be going to Michigan State as well. So that Spartan team has continue to pick up big pieces to that lineup.
A couple of Clarkston kids heading to Michigan State as well. We mentioned Kithier. Used to play here at Dakota.
Foster Lawyer,
yep,
his teammate in the AAU circuit.
What do we got? I got a foul away for the Dakota and a traveling violation. Thanks to our camera crew for that one. Coming up on 6 minutes to play in the ball game, and the clock is running. It did run through that turnover. Dakota's done a nice job with just getting their hands up in this ball game.
They've been really active.
South has not had a lot of clean looks, and that one falls for Tomlin. He's got 6 points here in the fourth quarter.
And he knocked down a couple big shots. Tomlin and Houston, really kind of an impressive 1-2 punch for them. Tomlin, a junior. Talked about Houston only being a freshman, so bigger and brighter things for this Blue Devil team in the years to come.
This crossover right there by Hughes. Floats one up, nearly got it to fall. Blocking foul, so he'll go to the line. Showing off some moves right there. Clock continues to run even through the stoppage.
We watched that Romeo Weems-led New Haven team come into this gym last year. Remember that game, that back and forth? New Haven fell behind early and stormed back, and Dakota able to hold them off.
And those early season games, that one had a feel of a championship-style game. You had a Class A and Class B team that were tops in their areas. Once again, Chase Tomlin putting on a show here offensively down the stretch.
It's really, I know we talked about it in our previous show, but it was really a shame that this Dakota team last year had a matchup with Clarkston so early on in the playoffs.
Yeah, that would have been great if they would have faced off maybe in a championship game. Or at least in a Final Four matchup at the Breslin Center. Dakota got there the year before.
This Dakota team not afraid to schedule tough competition. I remember a game here a few years back. Cassius Winston came in with his UAD Jesuit team. A lot of good basketball has been played in this gym.
Well, Dakota's 2 losses this year, Brad, were against Jesuit and New Haven. So 2 really good basketball teams. Thus far, Dakota's showing that they're still the class of the MAC right now. They're going to be 5-0.
Yeah, it's going to be 39 straight victories. 39 straight. Can you believe it?
That's unbelievable. Jeremy Flattery with that block on the other side of the court. Here comes South, though. Floater falls. 10 points here in the fourth quarter for Chase Tomlin.
So that winning streak got me thinking, Jason, about some of the most notorious streaks in sports. And you oftentimes think of Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, or maybe Cale Ripken's 2,632 consecutive starts. But really, if you're talking about win streaks, you got to talk about the UConn women, the basketball program at the University of Connecticut. 111 straight victories. And of those 111 straight victories, only 3 games, Jason, were decided by less than 10 points.
That's dominance. That's impressive. And that's overall wins. That's not even league conference games. No. So, I mean, that's impressive.
That's March Madness games, too. That's tournament games, national title games.
Yeah, seemingly every top female basketball player in the country, their #1 choice is Connecticut. That hasn't changed for about a dozen years, maybe longer than that. Under 2 minutes to go now in this one. Dakota firm control. The starters will not see any more action. You got all the reserves out here right now getting some quality minutes. John Sovey out there now, number 20.
So it'll be a game in a couple days on the road against your school district rival, the Chippewa Valley Big Reds, to make it 40 straight.
And you know Chippewa Valley is going to be looking for not only revenge in that first game, but to end that streak.
I might buy a ticket to watch that game.
Well, that's going to be a big game for Chippewa Valley because they going into action tonight. We're 2-2, And if they want to stay in the hunt for the MAC Red, those are games that you got to try to upset maybe those teams that are right on par with you or above you.
And Chippewa Valley at home tonight against L'Anse Creuse North, looking to improve their league record to 3-2. Message sent here by Dakota, Jason. This is really an impressive victory. To hold a MAC Red foe to under 30 points is a real feather in their cap. This has been domination right from the get-go.
Really, a lot of these points from South scored here in the fourth quarter. Chase Timlin has 10 points all in this final campaign. Nice crossover right there by Hughes. Just couldn't finish. Boy, what a pretty play that would have been. Ball knocked ahead. After the miss. Follow-up right there by Daniel Cullen. Down to 5 seconds, 4, and Dakota will just dribble it out. 61-28, our final score. Brad, your overall final thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah, huge victory here tonight by the Cougars. Cruise control throughout, and now you slowly turn your attention to number 2 in white, Mark Toko, and hope that ankle injury isn't anything too serious. But a big victory here tonight on the home floor, and can look ahead to those tough road matchups that loom at Chippewa Valley and against Stevenson.
Once again, final score 61-28. Dakota wins it. We thank you so much for watching here at Macomb Township Government Access. We will see you next time. So long.